This is LG's 65-inch EF9500, and before I brought it into the office, it lived with me in my living room for a good month. And let me tell you, I've never been so sad to see a TV go. And that's because, quite frankly, it's the best TV that I've ever tested. And not just because it's the first flat 4K OLED that I've tested either. Let's start with the look. Obviously, this OLED is flat, and I think that's going to appeal to a wider audience than the curved version. I had the curved version in my home too for a short time, and the reaction was generally along the lines of, what's with the curve? Whereas with this flat version, the TV's super slim profile is what caught the most attention. Staring head on at the TV, the ultra-thin bezel adds to that sense of slim. I mean, it just looks like it's all picture when you turn it on. I think this stand is really well designed too, because it doesn't call undue attention to itself and helps the TV appear to float above your media stand. The EF9500 also looks pretty amazing when it's turned off because it appears jet black, and that's helped by a really effective anti-glare coating that's applied to the surface of the panel. And I've seen those coatings dull the picture on other TVs, but whatever LG is using here serves to reduce glare without taking anything away from the vivid picture quality. Now let's talk about the feel, and by that I mean, what does it feel like to operate this TV? Well, for me, this is one of the most easy to operate televisions on the market, and a lot of that has to do with LG's WebOS 2.0 operating system, along with a redesigned version of its Magic Motion remote. The remote is a little bit bigger than before, and it rests more comfortably in your hand. It doesn't wobble anymore when you set it down, and LG has changed its motion sensor so that the motion control feature doesn't come on unless you shake the remote around for a while. That's a really nice improvement. Switching inputs is super easy with a dedicated input button on the remote, and you can quickly cycle through all your favorite apps and channels on this scrolling app ribbon below. As for special features, what makes this TV different from LG's curved version is that HDMI input 3 is HDCP 2.2 compliant. Among other things, that means that the TV can handle 4K Ultra HD content in HDR via HDMI, which will come in handy when Ultra HD Blu-ray disc players and movies come out early next year. It can also stream HDR, though right now Amazon's the only service offering streaming HDR titles, and only 2 of them at that. Still, the effect really adds something to the realism of the picture. With that said, the contrast on this TV is impressive enough even without the HDR. High-quality 4K content with no HDR is delivered with such extremely vivid colors and bright spectral highlights. I don't miss it. If you want to see what this TV can do right out of the box, head over to YouTube and check out some of the streaming 4K videos at 60 frames per second. There's a series of them, like what you see here, that are nothing short of stunning. I feel like I'm getting HDR already. And that's because OLED TVs are the best way to enjoy HDR thanks to their perfect black levels. You're going to hear LG say that a lot too, but that's my personal observation, having looked at some of the top HDR-capable LED models from Sony and Samsung. Viewing angle is as good as it gets, so everyone gets a great seat. And as for color, while I feel like certain shades of white have a slight green cast to them, that's nothing a good calibrator can't knock out. But even out of the box with no major adjustments, color on the whole looks great. LG keeps upping the ante, and even though I know the company will have a new version of this OLED coming out next year with a wider color gamut, I still wouldn't hesitate a second to purchase this TV. At $5,000, this 65-inch model is pretty pricey, but consider last year's version was about double that. The prices keep coming down, and that's really exciting. OLED is an amazing TV display technology, and its implementation in this model is unsurpassed. Simply put, it's the best looking TV I've seen yet. If you've got the dough and you're in the market for the best TV you can buy at any price, I say this is it. And just know that this TV will delight you and everyone who sees it for years to come.